if a child, orphaned by violence and raised in a foreign land, crossed the sea alone to return to his homeland, guided only by faith? What if that same child grew to become a monk whose prayers protected the harvest, healed the sick, and strengthened his people? Today's saint shows us that holiness often begins in humble obedience and grows through a life of prayer and service. Hello, and welcome back to Saint of the Day. If you're watching on February 24th, today we honour Saint John Theristus, also known as Saint John the Reaper, monk, abbot and confessor. Saint John was born in 1049 in Calabria, southern Italy. His father, a Byzantine farmer, was killed in a Saracen raid, and his mother was taken captive. He grew up in a Christian faith surrounded by a Muslim environment. At the age of 14, encouraged by his mother, he courageously fled across the Strait of Messina in a small boat without oars or sail, reaching Monastery. The local bishop, seeing the boy dressed as a Moor, tested him thoroughly before receiving him into the church and giving him the name John. As he grew, Saint John was drawn to the ascetic life. He joined the monks living in caves around Stylus, inspired by the holiness of Basilian monks Saints Ambrose and Nicholas. Even at a young age, he distinguished himself by virtue and obedience, eventually becoming abbot. Following the rule of Saint Basil, he distributed the family treasure he had recovered to the poor and devoted his life to prayer and service. Saint John is especially remembered for a remarkable miracle during harvest time. Visiting a monastery supporter with bread and wine, he found 2 fields threatened by a sudden storm. Through his prayer, the storm held off and the wheat was harvested safely, saving the farmers from ruin. This miracle earned him the name Theristus, meaning the reaper. Grateful for his holy intervention, the field owner donated the land to the monastery. Saint John Theristus died in 1129, leaving behind a reputation for holiness and service. His relics have been venerated in Calabria for centuries. Saint John Theristus reminds us that true holiness is born of courage, humility, and fidelity to God, in childhood trials, in daily work, and in a life devoted to prayer and charity. Saint John Theristus, pray for us, that we may live lives of humble service, trust in God's protection, and bear fruit for His kingdom through faithful prayer and action. Thank you for joining us today. Please like, share and subscribe to Orbis Catholicus for more Catholic saints, prayers and devotions. Comment below your favourite saint and stay tuned for tomorrow's Saint of the Day. God bless you.